Congregational Church in Tiburon, California. We are an open and affirming congregation of the United Church of Christ. No matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, whether you are in the room or joining us online, you are welcome here. I invite you to pray with me. Light within all light, soul behind all souls, at the breaking of dawn, at the coming of day, we wait and watch. Your light within the morning light, your soul within the human soul, your presence beckoning to us from the heart of life. In the dawning of this day, let us know fresh shinings in our soul, in the growing colors of new beginning all around us. Let us know the first lights of our heart. Great star of the morning, inner flame of the universe, let us be a color in this new dawning. Amen.
The first reading today is from 6 Recognitions of the Lord by Mary Oliver. I know a lot of fancy words. I tear them from my heart and my tongue. Then I pray. The second reading is from Dancing, Standing Still, Healing the World from a Place of Prayer by Richard Rohr. You cannot grow in the integrative dance of action and contemplation without a strong tolerance for ambiguity, an ability to allow, forgive, and contain a certain degree of anxiety, and a willingness to not know and not even need to know. This ever widens and deepens your perspective. This is how you allow and encounter mystery and move into the contemplative zone.
Here we are on the third Sunday in Lent, and it feels like we should begin this season all over again. It's a completely different world than the one that we inhabited just 7 days ago. When we last saw each other at Community Congregational Church in Tiburon, we were refraining from our typical handshakes and our hugs and the joining of hands at the end in our closing circle. There was a lot of bowing and nodding and namastes in their place. It felt a little bit strange, but it also seemed like we could make it work. But in the days since then, we've become aware that those measures are not nearly enough. Not enough to fight the spread of the coronavirus. And like so many other faith and spiritual communities, we have made the difficult decision to close our building to in-person gatherings. The overwhelming majority of our spiritual community are in a higher risk bracket. So love of self and neighbor requires that we take drastic actions. I always felt that if it turned out that we were overreacting, that would be just fine. But from what I'm seeing and hearing from across the world, social distancing seems to be helping. At the beginning, we said that this would be for a period of 2 weeks, but it is clear now that we just don't know. We don't know how long this situation will go on. So there's a new spiritual practice for us. There is a new muscle that we need to exercise, one that may not immediately feel good to us. It is the muscle that enables us to tolerate ambiguity, or as Richard Rohr says, to live in the not knowing. He says that this is what widens and deepens our perspective, allowing us to encounter mystery. I would love to be able to say that I am a shining example of strong faith and firm resolve. But to be honest, I've been just as fearful as the next guy. I've had to let go of the memorial service we were planning for my sister. Her church is closed for at least the next 30 days, and it really makes no sense for us to travel by plane right now anyway. And I've been in the checkout lines at Trader Joe's, gripping my cart with the wet wipes, sanitizing after I enter my PIN number, mindful of every sneeze or cough that could otherwise be ignored as normal. If I were to get to the source of my fear, I would have to say that the fear is in the not knowing. Assumptions we were making just a few short days ago are proving to be false. And the discomfort of that reality drives me just a little bit crazy sometimes. So today, in these moments, we have some choices to make. We can succumb to our paralyzing fears, or we can go to a place that is deeper than where those fears reside. We can turn this thing that we call social distancing into a spiritual practice that actually takes us deeper into mystery and contemplation. As I mentioned in the Friday email, my mother often greeted bad news with a wistful rendering of her favorite altruisms. Every cloud has a silver lining, she would say, as the rest of us rolled our eyes and sighed. Her cheerful positivity rarely rubbed off on me, and I never really accepted the words themselves. At the time, my thought was, well, that's just the thing that Mom says when she wants us to feel better. But now that the Center for Disease Control has pronounced me elderly, I might just be onto something that I should have known all along. Maybe my mother knew what she was talking about. If there is indeed a silver lining in this cloud, it is that many of us have some time on our hands. Time to meditate, time to think, time to read, time to listen. Instead of rushing from place to place, we're thinking more about staying in one place. And yes, it is all about avoiding a nasty virus, but it can be so much more than that. While in the comfort of our own homes, we can practice yoga on the living room rug. And while we're stretching our bodies, we can also stretch our souls. We can grow in our tolerance of this ambiguity. We can strengthen the muscle that flexes our ability to allow, forgive, and even contain our own anxieties. We can build up our willingness to not know. What if we came out on the other side of this as a more deeply contemplative people than when it began? And what if our view of the world were to become less fearful because of it? Our parents and grandparents lived through fearful times: world wars, depressions, assassinations, riots, struggles for civil rights. And right now, it is our turn. And we can go a lot farther now. That is, if we can go deeper. If we focus on our fears, all we're really doing is attracting more of the same. So let's see if we can find the silver lining instead, and in the process, get to a brand new place. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. These famous words of Franklin Delano Roosevelt could not be more timely or more comforting or more helpful right now. They were spoken powerfully into a moment of societal upheaval, and they represented a shift in energy, one that carried generations of people forward for decades to come. We're in need of another shift in energy. This time, it won't come from an inspiring leader who is outside of ourselves. This time, it's going to come from within, from the inspiration of who we are. And we'll find that inspiration by taking ourselves into this beautiful dance of action and contemplation. It is a dance that we are sure to enjoy. If you have found this helpful and would like to make a donation to support our work, please visit ccctiburon.org/giving. Thank you.